So our project is called Infinite Timeline. My name is Matt.
And my name is Matt. So there are infinite amounts of connections that exist between different types of historical events. However, these correlations are often overlooked without the ability to view them firsthand. So as you can see on the screen, those are just a bunch of different dates and times of happenings of the Zika virus, dating back from 1954 to even like a couple days ago with Major League Baseball stopping all games in Puerto Rico because of the Zika virus over there. So that was our problem, and this is our solution.
So our solution essentially is to give you the ability to create visual representations of history. So you can take events from a database that's already collected, or you can add events to the database that exists. You could do this straight from Wikipedia, which is like extremely easy. We'll show you a quick demo of that. And it's very flexible, and we'll explain later, you can use it for basically anything, which is why this seemingly does not relate at all, but you know, in the future, nursing can definitely use it because
I'm thinking of epidemiology when you're showing me
exactly.
that,
There's so many different types of uses for it. So we're really going to quickly do a demo. So this is the site. There's a whole like user system, so you can create users. You can sign up. You can log in, log out. Everything's like figured out.
You want to log in? Sorry. There we go. Technical difficulty. Cool. Yeah.
All right. So basically, like this is the home page, and there's a bunch of different things. We'll run through it. You can input events, which we will do.
So this is basically the input events page. So as you can see, we'll run through it real quick. So what it asks for a URL of the Wikipedia page, start date of the event and end date of the event, what category the event takes place in, so basically what era it is, dating from prehistory to modern history. It also goes to what category the event falls under, so it could be economic person, it could be a political category, it could be a war, social movement, invention, or a natural global phenomenon. In this case, it's going to be a natural phenomenon because it's going to be the Zika virus. It's going to be late modern period because it's going to be 1954. Let me go get a quick Google search real quick. Zika fever. I'm just going to go to Wikipedia.
Reliable source, just saying, from a healthcare perspective.
So this was in 1994, so Google 101/19.
Which brings up an important point. So this Wikipedia you're just using as an example of a source. You could use other sources.
So we're going to talk about that.
Just for Wikipedia.
So we're going to talk about that a little later, but essentially, like right now, we're using Wikipedia because it's a very good source of like a lot of information, and especially for history, it's broad. You know what I mean? It has so many different things. But in the future, if this, like, for example, like a nursing association says like, oh, this could be really cool to work with this specifically.
Yeah, I was thinking the CDC.
Yeah, so you could link like all of the CDC's database and the back end to work with this. It just kind of gets the information it needs in the right.
Okay.
So this is the page to generate a timeline.
Okay.
So you can create your title. You add a little description, so Zika virus.
Resurface.
Well, thank you.
There you go. I've been writing an article all day with colleagues, so
Really?
these words.
Yeah.
So you just give a quick URL from like Google or something like that, and that takes the image for the media. Video image caption is mosquitoes. I think misspelling of that, but we'll see. And Google. So that creates the timeline, and here, this is the page where you add your events to the timeline. Do you want to?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, you can go through, and this is why the categories are really important, because, like, in theory, if this had thousands and thousands of events, it would be horrific to go through. So right now, you can, like, filter out. Right now, I know that all of these events are in natural global phenomena. So you can filter out there, as you could see before. There's other ones, and then
So you're basically just,
You could even have the Major League Baseball in there.
yeah. Well, we kind of set that up.
We populated it with other
You didn't have to tell me that, I was impressed.
Yeah, so
People came up.
I'm just gonna go through and add the different events. So we also did one before we were testing out about swine flu, so there's some events that are there. So all the different Zika viruses, adding. Yes.
Once you add one from there, it looks like it takes it off.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
So
you
it
don't add
actually,
twice.
yeah, so it goes in and it actually pulls it out of
Your choices.
your choices so that you don't just like, yeah.
That should be it.
So then these are all the events. It shows all the events here. Right now, there's actually no way to like take them out. That's just the way it is right now.
Right.
That's just a little added functionality that needs to happen, but it's not too hard to actually do. Then you create the actual timeline, and it sends you over to the timeline page where you're actually viewing it. And this is the timeline. So this is like the title page. The first slide is always the title page, and then you can go through and see about the Zika virus. And then so these are different things that have happened over its history. Yeah.
So basically what's happening is it's taking the summary of the Wikipedia page of that article, it's taking the title of it, and it's taking the caption image. So that image that you see normally at the top of the Wikipedia page, that's what it's showing to the left, as well as like information about it as well.
Yeah,
So
so-
those pictures actually came from the Wikipedia page.
Yeah.
All this information came from the
Yeah, which is why like it's really important that like that's why Wikipedia was so perfect because
Yeah.
like it has an API that lets you access a lot of the information in it, and so you could go in and grab the information and then you could visually see different parts of the and it's
I
relatively
mean, this
easy to do.
information, I'm sure, is accurate. I'm
Correct.
just, people go to Wikipedia for medical.
Correct.
Yeah,
some
yeah,
things,
yeah.
Of course,
yeah,
of course,
exactly.
of course.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would assume if you're going to use this, you'd hope that it's correct. You know?
Right.
That's so then also some of the stuff you could do with it. You can like view the timelines you've created. I made like one with like American Wars. I figured out to add like Bitly. You can add like so you could basically take this and I could take this and like send this in an email, and then it'll actually come up like this separately. So like you could basically, the point of that is you could share it really easily with other people. There's ways that you can like only view it under your account, but if you want, you have like a shareable thing that you can send out. For example, you need to present on a project, you take it, you create the timeline, and then you use this link, you just send it to someone, and they can see it, which is cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is it presented right now? Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay.
So who cares? Since this project takes information from Wikipedia articles and converts them into an easy-to-read format, our main stakeholders can be considered very broad, since this is a tool a majority of people, whether they be students, professionals, or hobbyists, can take advantage of. This is an application that can be used for many different topics, but in the field of nursing, for example, this website could be used to get a better assessment of certain virus strains or any other major medical events.
Absolutely.
So tools we utilize, so the timeline, like the actual timeline itself uses something called Timeline.js, which is basically a beautiful like styling for a timeline, and they have a whole like API that made it really easy for us to work with. We also worked with Wikipedia, obviously, to go in and grab a lot of the information. Also, we use Bootstrap for some of the styling of the actual application, and then PHP for most of the functionality. Right now, it's hosted on my site just for like practicality, making it work. In theory, if this were to become a bigger thing, this would be moved to another site, and this could be made as broad as possible. It could scale very easily, and relatively cheaply too. It basically just hosting, which is like max $30 a year, which is like nothing. And then future features.
Yeah, so for future features, we want text comparison analysis of descriptions. allow additional events from academic databases, so not strictly just Wikipedia, profile pages for users, an admin system to verify events, make sure everything is on the up and up, and better CSS styling, just so it looks a little bit prettier.
Yeah. So essentially, like, one of the big things, like, that could be something that could be done, where, let's say, like, there's a database that you guys might already use for some of your research, that could be adapted, to work with this. And it might be able to just, like, look into the database and use that as its source.
Cool.
Yeah. Questions? All right.
So the user interface is all customizable. So,
Yeah.
for example, if they wanted to, if you guys wanted to use it as an educational tool,
Even for the Project Teach Moms, to
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
milestones and stuff, so as a.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
timeline.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so you could swap out the backgrounds, images instead of Gandhi and so
Mhm.
forth. It could be whatever,
Yeah.
and so that's all customizable.
Yeah. Everything's
Cool.
customizable because we built everything.
And I think Timeline JS is responsive, so that would work on tablets and,
Yeah.
and things like that too.
That would work on smartphones and things like that, too.
Which is cool.
It's awesome.
Very cool.
All right. Well, great job, guys. Love it.